Welcome back to the Inspectagators. This is Rory.
And this is Grack. And we're doing a case on Mothman, the cryptid legend himself.
Oh, heck yeah.
One of the most well-known cryptids in internet history because of, because it's Mothman. Like, what else are you gonna do?
Guess what?
What?
It's almost Mothman festival time.
Oh, yeah, it is! I mean, we don't live near enough to it, but...
If we did, we'd be there.
Yeah,
that'd be fun.
Alright, let's get straight into the mysterious man known as Mothman. I love his name. So, to dive into the history of Mothman, it all started on November 12th, 1966, where 5 men were digging a grave at a cemetery near Clendon, West Virginia, and very spooky, and they claimed to have seen a man-like figure fly low from the trees over their heads. This is often identified as the first known sighting of what became known as Mothman. Mothman! So, shortly after that, on November 15th of the same year, 2 young couples from Point Pleasant, Roger and Linda Scarberry and Steve and Mary Mollett, told the police that they saw a large gray creature whose eyes glowed red when the car's highlight picked it up. In general, they described it as a large flying man with a 10-foot wing radius? Yeah, he has a radius. Wingspan.
He's got a radius.
He's just rotating.
He flies in the sky going, whooshu, 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 and then really fast circles.
It's like a helicopter, one of those fairy toys, that spin really fast. His wings
rotate on the top of his back.
That's terrifying. That's worse. Here's another description from other people who've seen it. It does having bright red eyes, about 6 inches apart, a wingspan of 10 feet, and that seemed to want to avoid the bright headlights of the car. As the night went on, it also followed their car while they were driving in an area outside of town known as the TNT area, former World War II munition plant. During the next few days, other people reported seeing similar things. 2 volunteer firemen who saw it said it was a large bird with red eyes. And another county sheriff, George Johnson, commented that he believed the sightings were due to an unusually large heron he termed the shitepoke. I'm saying that right? The shitepoke. Shitepoke?
Yeah, I guess.
Shitey Pokey? I think that's a great name. Contractor Newell Partridge told Johnson that when he aimed a flashlight at a creature in a nearby field, its eyes glowed like bicycle reflectors, and blamed the buzzing noises from his television set and the disappearance of his German Shepherd dog on the creature that wildlife biologist Dr. Robert L. Smith at West Virginia University told reporters that descriptions and sightings of all of it fit the sandhill crane. So all of this was blamed on the sandhill crane.
Wait, so they're saying that this crane just made a dog disappear?
Must be a really buff crane.
This crane just either ate the dog or just swooped it up and flew away.
Yeah. So a description of the crane is a large American crane almost as high as a man with a 7-foot wingspan featuring circles of reddish coloring around the eyes, and the bird may have wandered out of its migration route. This particular crane was unrecognized at first because it was not native to the region where Mothman was sighted. What? So a lot of Mothman sightings are contributed to this crane, but, Mothman sounds cooler than a crane, right?
This sounds like a devil crane.
A devil crane.
It's the size of a grown man?
It's like those prehistoric creatures you hear about where it's like, it was the size of a horse, or it was ginormous. That's what this makes me think of. Like, where did these giant cranes come from, and what do they want from humans? Like, what do they want from humans? Okay,
so I pulled up a picture of the crane. This does not look like it is as tall as a man. It does not look like it could be Mothman.
I was about to say, they said 6 inches apart of red eyes. That's a crane. That's not a man. And they said it was a humanoid figure, too. I think if I saw a crane, I'd know the difference between a bird and a human man.
It does have sort of red eyes.
But 6 inches apart?
No.
Its head may be, 4 inches in total.
Yeah, it's not that big. Okay.
If it extended itself really, tall, it could, and the wingspan is really big.
The wingspan is really big, and I think maybe if it was really dark, and I've been told that, I've heard the story parts of the story before, that the kids who went to the munition plant were going to get high. So, if you were high, and you saw this giant crane,
just being like, I'm existing, bro, and you're like, Mothman?
Yeah.
I understand.
I honestly think that could have been how that worked out.
They're just tripping balls, and they see this giant crane, and they're like, oh, man.
That's Mothman.
That's Mothman right there. Understandable.
Because if you sort of tilt your head and squint, it's like a human with a really long neck.
And did not go to leg day.
and did not go to leg day.
Like, how tiny are your calves?
Good sir, you have none.
Looks like it's wearing a skirt if he was a human. Because his little tail or tail feathers.
Yeah.
But, like, if it's just walking or, like, trotting, that does not look like a human.
It looks like a really funky flamingo.
It really does. It really looks like a very overweight flamingo who just walks on both legs. Like, if I saw that running at me, I'd be scared. Because it's a funky-looking flamingo bird. And its whole head is pretty much red for the most part. I mean, if I saw that reflecting in my flashlight from, like, a far away distance, like, I would be afraid. Because that's a pretty mean glare.
Yeah, it is, but it's not like what they're describing.
Oh, yeah, it's not very similar to what they're describing, but if we're just talking pure facts...
Oh, no, yeah, this would definitely be scary, like...
Yeah.
Like, please look up a picture of a sandhill crane when you can. It's got, like, a super long beak, and the whole top part of his head is red, and his eyes are really red, too. And when it, like, looks down its beak at you, it's, like, glaring. It's kind of scary.
Yeah, so if I saw it reflected back at me, I'd be like, I do not want to die tonight.
You instantly become a Russian woman.
I become a Russian woman and I run no, I trot away. I trot away with my beets. And the bird's like, where are you going, old woman? I'm like, to my beet farm.
Away from the scary crane, who some people think is Mothman.
Okay, so continuing on with the history aspect. So after December 15th, 1967, there was the collapse of the Silver Bridge and the death of 46 people.
Wait, what?
And the incident gave rise to the legend and connected to the Mothman sightings. And they basically connected Mothman sightings and the bridge collapse to Mothman.
So what bridge is this?
So it is the Silver Bridge, It was a I-bar chain suspension bridge built in 1928 and is named for its aluminum paint. That's why it's called the Silver Bridge.
For those who haven't ever seen this bridge or don't know what it looks like a smaller version of the Golden Gate.
Yeah, it really does.
Or like the Bay Bridge.
Yeah, and so the bridge is carried by the U.S. Route 35 over the Ohio River connecting Point Pleasant, West Virginia and Gallipolis, Ohio.
Wait, where is that?
Wait, Point Pleasant, West Virginia and Gallipolis, Ohio.
You know what, I'm just gonna let you. Yeah.
Okay, just be aware, I am very bad at pronouncing things, and I just tend to go with the first thing that pops in my head, so I hope whoever lives in Ohio enjoyed my pronunciation of that. And so on December 15th, it collapsed under the weight of rush hour traffic, resulting in the death of 46 people, and 2 of the victims were never found.
Mothman ate them.
He wanted a snack. Are you ever just too much of a snack that Mothman carries you away after the collapse of a bridge? Because, like, me too. And so, investigation points to the cause of the collapse being a failure of a single I-bar in the suspension chain, and it was carrying much heavier loads than it had originally been planned for. But I like the idea that Mothman was just was like, I'm gonna take down a bridge.
Mothman said, it's in the way.
There is a major motion picture based off Mothman called The Mothman Prophecies. Now we're getting more into the major media, like the whole media thing around Mothman, that was released in 2002.
Bro, my grandma watched this movie. She told me it scared the living daylights out of her, and she slept with the lights on in her house for a month.
Really?
Yeah.
That's scary. I haven't watched. So this all happened in the 60s, right? So the Mothman Prophecies came out in 2002, and it's based off the book by the same name by John Keel in 1975.
John Keel. He sounds very familiar.
Yeah. We can do a little search real quick. So, John Alva Keel, born on March 25th, 1930, because obviously you need this information, was an American journalist and an influential UFOologist. So, according to Georgian newspaper, I'm not going to try to pronounce that, it's a Russian newspaper, Russian UFOologists claim that Mothman sightings in Moscow foreshadowed the 1999 Russian apartment bombings.
What?
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of information on this. Basically, a bunch of bombings happened on apartments, and they just blamed it on Mothman.
So is Mothman now just our catch-all?
Mothman is just an agent of chaos. So then, and a much more recent date, 2016, WCHS-TV published a photo that was explained to be Mothman, and it was taken by an anonymous man while driving on Route 2. They proposed that the photo showed a bird, perhaps an owl, carrying a frog or a snake, and there is zero reason to suspect that it is Mothman as described in the legend. I do not have a visual for it, but I'm assuming it was probably a hazy picture of Mothman. Maybe he's just too sexy to behold.
No camera can capture the true beauty of Mothman.
He's like, you know that really handsome face of Squidward?
Yes.
Like, if you were to remove the moth fuzz, you'd be like, oh, Mothman. You know?
I don't often think about wooing Mothman, so no, I don't know.
You don't think about wooing Mothman?
Not generally, no.
I'm just kidding. I don't think about wooing Mothman.
Well, obviously you do.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Theory time.
Wow.
Theory time.
Wow.
Theory time.
Wow.
You can have your pick of what theory time you want to put in. Or you can put in all three and cut this part out. So theories. Folklorist Jan Harold Brunvand notes that Mothman has been widely covered in popular press, some claiming sightings connected with UFOs and others claiming that a military storage site was Mothman's home. He notes that recounting of the 1966 and 1907 Mothman reports usually state that at least 100 people saw Mothman, with many more afraid to report their sightings, but observed that written sources for such stories are consisted of children's book or sensationalized or undocumented accounts that fail to quote identifiable people. He found many elements in common among the many Mothman reports and older folk tales that suggested that something real may have triggered the scares and became woven into the already existing folklore. He also records the anecdotal tales of Mothman that supposedly attacked the roofs of parked cars occupied by teenagers.
Mothman is coming down and banging on the roof and going,
said,
"Leave room for Jesus!"
How do you know about Jesus, Mothman? I was converted. Mothman found Jesus.
Mothman found Jesus. The missionaries found Mothman.
Oh my gosh.
The missionaries are the true cryptid hunters. They're coming to convert them all to Mormonism.
Oh, you never know. Then conversely, Joe Nichols says that a number of hoaxes followed the publicity generated by the original reports were led to more reports of Mothman. So it's like, if you were to hear about the reports of Mothman and be like, I'm going to be a fake Mothman and trick a bunch of people into thinking they saw Mothman, it would generally, create more stirring around the whole folklore of Mothman. And I guess I would do that. I'd totally be like, let's play a prank and, put flashlights in the sky with balloons and all that and make people think they're seeing Mothman.
How do you be a fake Mothman? Is this like a Delatus thing?
A what thing?
You know Delatus and Icarus?
Oh, yeah, it's kind of like that.
I'm gonna make wings and I'm gonna fly. And people are gonna think I'm Mothman.
Yeah.
For those of you who are not aware, there is a Greek myth about Delatus and his son Icarus creating wings and fleeing the labyrinth that Delatus created, and then Icarus dies. Anyway, he made wings. So I was like, wings, Mothman?
Mothman wings.
Mothman wings. Wow, Mothman. He has wings.
And then also, very recently, there's been an uptick of Mothman sightings in Chicago, recently as 2017. So in 2017, there was about 55 sightings of Mothman, and it's described as a selective sample. So basically, it's saying that the people who came to him talking about Mothman were more likely to be the ones who looked up these paranormal websites that would influence them to come to him. So it wasn't a purely set of people that were just randomly selected from the population. This is people who were coming to him. And so that might have a leniency towards people who believe in the paranormal and would believe in Mothman. Mm-hmm. A lot of pseudoscience claims that Mothman was an alien, a supernatural manifestation, or an unknown species of animals. And then in the book, they claim that the residents experienced precognition, including premonitions of the collapse of the Silver Bridge, and UFO sightings, as well as other alien / creepy things happening. But this was just within the book. This was not in real life. It's just about that Mothman. So Point Pleasant holds our annual festival for Mothman, which started in 2002, and currently continues on to this day. And there's also a statue commemorating Mothman created by Bob Roach in 2003. It's made out of metal.
Mothman has abs.
Mothman does have abs in that statue. I was looking at it, I was like, why did he make Mothman so ripped?
He really did, though.
He didn't have to go that hard, but he did. You would think Mothman would be more of fuzzy, like a moth.
No, but he's got a six-pack.
Let's just look it up real quick, just so we can really analyze this. I like how he's just described as this black blob with wings with just giant red orb eyes. That's top culture, the media of cryptids and all that.
I was totally imagining him as white and fuzzy.
I just saw him as a moth with really big eyes and just really big, just giant man moth,
yeah,
gray, fuzzy, stippled colored fur with, like, the big buzzy antennas. And then this statue...
This statue is something
Why
else.
does he have such defined six-pack? And his wings definitely are not 10 feet in wingspan. It looks like a butterfly.
Yeah, Mothman, the real Mothman.
Oh, he has clawed feet, too.
He also has a very muscular butt. With, like, a legitimate butt crack. Have you seen it?
No.
He does.
Okay, let me scroll and see if I can find it. Give me the Mothman booty. oh.
Did you see it?
Yeah. Why? It's like those guys in the past, you know, who would create the really ripped figures of, like, the devil and, like, different, like, biblical figures. And they was just, like, really unnecessarily ripped. Like, that's how I feel what happened. Like, he didn't have to do that, but he did.
It's like those painters that would give babies six-packs.
You didn't come out of the womb with a six-pack?
I did not.
I thought that was just something, you know, that happened.
Not for me, at least. I don't know about you.
I came out with an 8-pack.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, I was crushing cans against my head as a 2-year-old and screaming, hoo ha ha ha!
Shark bait, hoo ha ha.
Shark bait, hoo ha ha. And then there's also, just to talk a little bit more about Mothman on the subject of, like, pop culture and media, it really has become sort of like a meme. Especially within, like, the whole cryptid uprising of I'm such a cryptid, or I'm gonna go fight Mothman in the Denny's parking lot. It's very much become a little subculture of, like, cryptids and, like, people liking, like, conspiracies and all that stuff. Like, I feel like that's all a little connected ball of, like, sub-internet culture. And it's really interesting because it's really fun and I really like it. But it's very different from the origins.
Yeah, definitely.
It's, like, much more woobified, if that makes sense. Like, it's much more, like, soft. And, I mean, it's not bad. It's like...
It's different.
It's very cutesy.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah, it's not bad. It's very cute depictions of, like, this, like, little moth dude with big red eyes. But then you, like, look at people's other renditions, like artist renditions, they're terrifying.
Yeah. They're a little scary. Whoa.
Yeah, like this first one that comes up.
Looks like a gargoyle.
Yeah.
Why does it look partially like Bigfoot? Also, why does he have a six-pack?
You gotta be ripped to throw yourself in the air if you're, like, flying and you're a man.
Hear that?
But, like, imagine seeing that from your car. That's terrifying.
Yeah, that is
Look
scary.
up Mothman depictions, and the first couple of photos are, like...
Why does it look like something that would be on Scooby-Doo?
This just makes me laugh. Oh, yeah, I'd be surprised if Scooby-Doo hasn't covered Mothman. Has Scooby-Doo covered Mothman?
Let us know in the comments. Is it Scooby-Doo covered Mothman?
Well, I guess we're about to find out. There's a movie?
What?
Is there really?
Attack of the Mothman? Wait, that's not Scooby-Doo.
I don't think they have then.
Scooby-Doo writers, hop on that. But, like, the OG Scooby-Doo, not that funky animation one we got now. Is that all for your case?
Yes. So basically, in conclusion, Mothman is very interesting and has become a prominent cryptid in internet culture, and also is very interestingly connected to many different incidents and a certain animal, the sandhill crane. So I think to say there's no conclusive evidence really of him existing or not, but it is a very interesting folklore character, and he's pretty cool guy. Well, not if he caused people to die, but
taking that out.
Yes. It's a pretty interesting case and a pretty interesting character.
I think that I do believe in Mothman. I think he's out there lurking in the woods doing his.
It's like Santa. If all the kids believe in him, he becomes stronger. Like, I believe in you, Mothman, and he's like, my power.
No, he adds another set of abs.
He just gets like another his abs just extend. Like,
yeah. He just keeps growing taller because he keeps adding more abs.
Another kid who believes in Mothman gives Mothman another pair of abs.
We should make a shirt that says that. But I think Mothman's out there chilling. But How
long do you think Mothman lives, though?
He's immortal.
Can he reproduce?
No, he's immortal.
He's just immortal?
Yeah, he's like the Loch Ness Monster. He just doesn't die.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
But I think that those people who went to the museum site, I do think they were tripping, and I think they saw a big bird.
I was about to say, they were tripping pretty hard, probably.
Yeah. Especially since they were playing in an old World War II TMT demolition site. Like, no kids.
You don't play in demolition sites.
No.
Yes, you can. Believe in the power of Mothman. Believe. Yes, you can. Believe in the power of Mothman. Wow!
That is the official Mothman theme song. Please go look it up. It is something else.
Cha-cha, real smooth.
Do, 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 do.
Anyway, I think that's all we have on Mothman so far. And so if you have any comments, questions, you can find us on our Instagram page, _Inspectagators. Mm-hmm. So thank you for listening. This is Grack.
And this is Rory.
And we're signing out. Adidas.
Peace. Mothman. I said, put your hand down. I said, Mothman. Put that man on the ground. I said, Mothman. Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, okay. So,